Darth Bane, mastermind behind the rule of two, which says, for the Sith, there must be one master and one apprentice, no more. The master to embody the power, and the apprentice to crave it. Only through this rule can the Sith survive and not be diluted. But who was Bane? How did he start off? And where did he end up? I'd like to give some of my thoughts on the Bane trilogy, and this is a Star Wars trilogy. This Sith Lord interests me quite a bit, and it's not just because he created the Rule 2, but because he forged himself in a way that many of the other Sith did not. Darth Bane was born on a mining world to parents who were miners. His mother died when he was very young, and his father was very abusive, beat him regularly, sometimes daily, had a bad alcohol addiction, and from the age of 13 he was expected to work in the mines, a very laborious task. Now, he didn't start off with knowledge of the Force or knowing that he was suited to the dark side. He actually started off just as a very lucky individual. He noticed that he seemed to be lucky in very many instances. He seemed to be able to predict how to play cards early on and exactly when to fold and when to ante up. Now, one night when Bane was around the age of 16, he was beaten very badly by his father. Bane had complained that he was spending all of the money that they made on alcohol, and they would never be able to pay off the mining company that they worked for their room and board and anything else they wanted. They were basically sharecroppers for this mining corporation, and his father did not like what Bane said. After that beating that night, Bane had multiple broken ribs. He had a broken nose, and he was bleeding quite a bit. Now, here's where we see a dark side affinity pop out. He didn't know he was doing this, but he caused his father's death simply by saying and forcing his will, saying, "I wish you were dead. I wish you were dead." As he laid there in pain, again and again, he said, "I wish you were dead." And the next day, his father, Hurst, did die. Now, his father had many friends, and his friends didn't like Bane either. In fact, the name Bane actually comes from what his father used to call him. His father used to call him Bane, as to say, "You are the bane of my existence." And he later used that title. But his life didn't get much easier after that. Didn't have a lot of friends, and he would get into fights. He got into one particularly brutal fight with one of his father's friends and sent him to the hospital. Bane did have one friend at the local cantina where the miners would drink, and this friend would kind of look out for him. He ran the cantina. Now, one night, in a hand of cards with some Republic troops, he won, and the Republic troops did not like this one bit. Afterwards, they followed him and tried to kill him, but he ended up killing one of them, and the remaining Republic troops ran into the night. Bane's friend, who owned the cantina, introduced him to a recruiter from the Brotherhood of Darkness, who was fighting the Republic at the time. They were led by Sith, many Sith. And he became a trooper in their army, in the Brotherhood of Darkness. Now, as a trooper, he distinguished himself quite well. He seemed to know when there was an ambush, when there was a trap, and how to accomplish missions. He rose to the rank of sergeant and was loved. Ordered by his commanding officer to take on a suicide mission with his men, he knocked his commanding officer out and accomplished the mission in a much more effective way. He was then arrested by the Dark Brotherhood enforcers and was taken to Korriban. He expected to be tortured, but instead he had caught the Sith's eye. He had stood out from his remarkable service and his seemingly always lucky circumstances. On Korriban, he was told he was actually special, that he had an affinity for the dark side and they could feel it in him, and that they wanted him to enroll in the Sith Academy. He gladly accepted and became another member of the Academy, much older than the other students, but also much more powerful. This was sensed by the Sith that ran the Academy. but he ran into a lot of trouble at the Academy early on. The Brotherhood of Darkness, led by Khan, believed that the only way the Sith could survive is if they all joined together instead of fighting. That if they were all equal and viewed each other equally, then the Sith could survive and defeat their Jedi enemies and the Republic itself, leading to a new Sith empire spanning the galaxy, ruling everything. But Darth Bane disagreed. The Sith Academy was run far different than the Jedi Academy. They were pitted against each other. Everyone was out for themselves, trying to get a leg up on each other, knowing that they were rivals, that even though they were on the same side, that only one could be the most powerful. Now, they weren't allowed to kill each other, but they would try to undermine each other. And Darth Bane eventually thrived in this environment and became very powerful. Unlike his fellow students or the teachers of the Academy, Bane spent a lot of time in the archives, learning all he could from the ancient Sith tomes. And he learned of the name Darth and what it meant, that it was a challenge to every other Sith. And he realized then that Khan's Brotherhood of Darkness was flawed, that there couldn't be an army of equals, that would hamstring the most powerful from rising to the top. And then he realized that he had to destroy Khan's Brotherhood of Darkness. Now, one may ask, aren't the Sith more powerful if there are more of them? But that's not quite the case. You see, the power of the Sith had become as depleted as it had for the Jedi Order. There are many Jedi, there are many Sith, but the power was spread out amongst them. The more powerful Sith could only rise to the top if they destroy all the weaker Sith and become better and better for it. Eventually, Khan called all the Sith acolytes of the Academy to Ruusan to join the fight against the Army of Light, made up of Jedi. Bane eventually found his way there as well, but he had a plan. He had discovered Revan's holocron, and from it, the Thought Bomb, something that would destroy the Sith and Jedi. But he pitched it to Khan, as if it could be controlled. After surviving 2 secret assassination attempts by Khan, Bane joined Khan's camp at Ruusan and told them that the strategy wouldn't work. The only way to destroy the Jedi is to fight like Sith, not on the battlefield, not with war strategies, but with the dark side itself. So he prepared to show them a display of dark side ability and power. Bane convinced all the Sith to participate with him in a ritual where they would surround him and feed their mental ability and dark side energy into him. And with it, Bane burned the forests on Ruusan, making the Jedi come out of their hiding places and burning many in the process. But Khan did not like this. He saw Bane taking away authority and power. Even though he said they were all equal, he wanted to be in charge. So Khan stopped the ritual before Bane could complete it. Stopping the ritual, Khan took all of the Sith and charged after the Jedi to finish them off. Little did he know that Bane had planned for this. And while they were gone, he told the Sith fleet in orbit to break ranks and to go after the Jedi ships. This would allow some Jedi ships to come down with troop reinforcements that would bolster the Jedi numbers, badly needed by them. Now the Sith decided to retreat into the caves on Ruusan after the Jedi reinforcements joined the Army of Light. Now, at this point, Khan had one option in his mind, the Thought Bomb. Now, in his hubris, he thought that the Sith, through their united will, could survive, and the Jedi would be the only ones dragged into the void that the Thought Bomb would create. Bane, getting very far away, left the Sith to perform the ritual in the caves. Now they united their wills and created this Thought Bomb, Khan leading them. Bane knew that they wouldn't be able to control it, and the Sith and the Jedi nearby were dragged into a void where their spirits were ripped apart, and they would exist in spirit pieces, in essence, in pain and agony for all eternity. Having destroyed all the Sith that could possibly have any dark side ability to reach the rank of Darth, Bane wondered where he would find an apprentice. He happened upon a little girl then, a little girl who had seemingly snapped two Jedi's necks for killing a beast that she loved. He looked down at them, and he realized her power. Even at the age of 10, she had snapped the necks of two Jedi Knights. He had found his apprentice. He raised this Darth Zana to be his apprentice, slowly teaching her everything that he knew about the dark side and how to fight with a lightsaber, telling her again and again that one day she would have to challenge him, and should she win, she would carry on the legacy of the Sith and have to get her own apprentice. He was planning for the long term of the Sith. He did not care about his one life. He knew that someone had to put the wheels in motion. One day, Zana did challenge Darth Bane, and seemingly defeated him. But he had become aware of a technique of essence transfer, and right before Zana slew him, with some dark side tendrils coming out from the very planet they were on, he performed the ritual. And we do not quite know if his will was strong enough to inhabit Zana's body. Zana claimed to have won, but her hand, the same hand that had twitched on Bane's body, twitched in the same way that Bane's had in his later years, when she was seemingly coming back to herself. Is it possible that some part of Bane was transferred into Zana? Or perhaps he decided to take up the name of Zana and not call himself Bane anymore. It is possible he was powerful and his will was strong, but was his will stronger? For all intents and purposes, Bane's story ended there, and the legend of Darth Zana came after. But this technique of essence transfer was later used by Palpatine to survive, going into a clone body. This is canon. And Darth Tenebris transferred a part of his essence into Darth Plagueis, Palpatine's master. So, this transfer continued. In no version of events can I say that Bane transferred all the way down from apprentice to apprentice to apprentice, all the way into Darth Tenebris, but I can say that Palpatine, while he used this technique, he did destroy what was left of Darth Tenebris and Darth Plagueis, his master, when he electrocuted him that night that Palpatine slayed his master. So there wasn't a continuous transfer of this essence. What can I say about Darth Bane? I've covered just a little bit here, but you really have to listen to the trilogy, Darth Bane's trilogy, to really understand how deep this Sith Lord is. I find him extremely compelling. I find his story of him really forging himself and earning his Darth name and just plunging ahead into the future and planning the long-term destiny of the Sith past his own life quite remarkable. Also, keep in mind that I skipped over quite a bit of Darth Bane's life, and I just touched a little bit around certain parts of his life that I found really interesting. I didn't talk about his Orbalisk armor and how it was impervious to lightsabers, how he got it, how it came off, and really a big chunk of his life. So keep that in mind. I really glanced over even the parts that I did cover. So please listen to the Darth Bane's trilogy. If you like this video at all, hit that thumbs up down there. It really helps out the channel. The viewers that have been with me for a while will find this a little bit different kind of pace from my usual videos. But if y'all like it, please let me know in the comments section. Ask me questions. Feel free to suggest future lore videos like this. I enjoy doing this. It's a little bit different for me, but I hope that y'all enjoyed listening to me this whole time. And yeah, just let me know how you liked it, and I hope to hear from all of you in the future.